Hello and welcome to Live Now, the info show for technology and trends. And we are very lucky today. We are in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona at the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference 2020. It is absolutely gorgeous here. It's 75 degrees outside in the middle of February. It's just fantastic. And we are lucky enough this afternoon to be joined by Mehmet Yavuz from Celona. Mehmet, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ben.
Celona, yeah, it's great to have you here. Thank you. Celona is a fascinating new company. You are the CTO and co-founder, and it's in this new chunk of spectrum, CBRS, I believe it is?
Correct.
I am a neophyte. I'm very new at that. Before we get into everything, what is CBRS, and tell me a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me here.
Great to have you.
Excited about CBRS and the enterprise cellular networks. CBRS stands for Citizens Broadband Radio Service. And it's essentially a new chunk of 150 megahertz of spectrum that is now being available for enterprises to use in their facilities as a local network. It's clean, no interference. In the premise of an enterprise, it's a clean spectrum that they can use.
And is this is something that the FCC has just recently released,
And
when does this all happen?
It's been in the works for quite some time. FCC started this journey all the way back in 2015, and at that time there were few companies. Now FCC made the official announcement end of January, I think January 27th, that this spectrum is available for commercial service, and now there's a really healthy ecosystem in the CBRS Alliance. I believe there are more than 160 companies right now, and it goes from devices to the infrastructure to the spectrum service. A healthy ecosystem is starting to deploy commercial networks now.
So there is a CBRS ecosystem, the CBRS Alliance. Are they a marketing body or more of a standards body?
They are not a standards body. It is an alliance for all the companies and customers using this spectrum or interested in this spectrum. And it puts together some specs, not necessarily separate standards. It essentially builds on the 3GPP standards, such as the 4G LTE or the 5G new radio standards. It's a body where how to use that technology in this specific band is being discussed and formulated.
Fantastic. So before we get into that, tell me a bit about you. You're the co-founder, and where does the company come from? Where does the name Celona come from?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. My background is in cellular wireless, including 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. I have been in this space for more than 20 years. I spent more than 15 years at Qualcomm, corporate R&D. I worked on the technology from the design and in terms of the use cases, including enterprises. And the story of Celona is, I was at Barcelona a few years back. Barcelona.
Right.
At the Mobile World Congress, and there we were talking about private LTE. This was the very early days, I believe 2017. There we started having some discussion with Rajiv Shah, who is the CEO and co-founder of Celona. And it really made sense to us, this thing, to bring the cellular technology into enterprise space. And Rajiv didn't forget that conversation. And when we finally made up our mind to go ahead with a new company, Rajiv's suggestion was, let's use Celona from Barcelona.
Now, private LTE, is that what CBRS used to be called, or is it a different thing, or is it the same thing?
Yeah, great question. Private LTE is essentially separating it from the public LTE.
Carriers.
Right. So that's the traditional LTE deployment. Now, some people call it non-public LTE, some people call it private LTE, some people call it enterprise LTE, but essentially, it is a separate network in an enterprise premise for local use of the spectrum and services. Now, if an operator device comes into this enterprise, they can get service potentially from this network, but it's still a separate network, just like a Wi-Fi network in an enterprise.
I like the name private LTE or enterprise LTE because as an enterprise IT person, that instantly tells me what it is compared to CBRS that I actually had to look up this morning when I figured out, we were doing this interview. So that's a good. I like enterprise LTE, or because people know what LTE is.
Yeah, and it's kind of tight though, right?
Right.
Okay, you like this concept of private LTE, but how do you get that?
Right.
Okay, there's a healthy ecosystem that provides the devices infrastructure, but you need spectrum. You need a separate spectrum to deploy this network, and that's what the CBRS spectrum brings right now. And there are many examples of this happening globally now.
Right.
From Germany to UK, now Japan, and others following.
So given your background and from Qualcomm and such, how significant is this deployment of private LTE? What sort of changes is it going to make in enterprise IT into people's network usage?
Great question, and I think it's very, very significant. And I've been a big believer in this, just like our other co-founders at Celona. And basically what it enables is to bring this great technology of 4G and very soon 5G to the use cases of the enterprise. And we don't see Wi-Fi going anywhere. We see a lot of applications continuing on Wi-Fi, but we also see a surge of new applications. Those applications typically are called more mission critical or business critical, and they typically require a more predictable, reliable network, maybe more lower latency, quality of service, low packet error rate requirements, and the examples are many. And those specific applications that require that higher level of quality are perfect fit for the 4G, LTE, and 5G. So that's where this technology comes in, enabling those new applications for the enterprise.
And so where does this fit with 5G? Because 5G is coming in, it's a new deployment, it's supposed to have the bandwidth and the latency, that it's going to blow 4G out of the water and such. Where does CBRS fit in with the 5G puzzle?
Yeah, very good question again. I mean, the initial deployments of CBRS band will be with the LTE. So we are already in the beginning of that. We'll see many of these deployments happening throughout 2020 with the LTE technology. And that serves to many use cases. Now, 5G brings additional capabilities, right? For example, latency with LTE can be 20-30 milliseconds, and 5G can bring it down to 5 milliseconds or even less than a millisecond with release 16. The bandwidth can be higher, right? 100 megahertz bandwidth can be used instead of 20-40 megahertz. So those additional benefits will be essentially a roadmap of evolution from the LTE to 5G. And very likely next year in 2021, we'll see initial deployments of private 5G in the CBRS band, just like LTE.
Okay, so you can use 5G with CBRS,
Absolutely.
Just like you're using LTE.
Correct.
Interesting. What about device support? Is this something that is holding you back, or are the manufacturers supporting CBRS?
Yeah, they are. And mainstream chipsets are really now coming with the support of this band. For example, Qualcomm chipsets support the CBRS band, both for the 4G LTE and also for the 5G new radio. So that is the chipset support. And now when you come to the device manufacturers, they are using these chips to make their devices, and many of these devices, from the tablets to the handhelds to the IoT gateways, all support this band. And a really important point is operators like Verizon are really interested in this band as well. And they are making this a requirement for the devices that operate in their network. So now we see iPhone 11 already commercial in the CBRS band, Samsung Galaxy S10, Pixel 4, lots of LG phones, and the list goes on and on. So that is the great news about the band support, and lots of infra vendors are getting into supporting this band as well.
I know one existing problem that carriers face is congestion in highly congested areas, stadiums, sporting arenas, where you see you've got a signal, but you just can't make a call. Does CBRS, will it help offload some of that, perhaps, or?
Yeah, it definitely has that potential to offload some of the traffic of operator devices, and that's typically called neutral host type service. The real question is, how will these deployments happen? Will they be an extension of the operator networks, like the traditional model of DAS or operator small cells, or will they be driven by the enterprise? We see a huge demand from the enterprise side in terms of having a network in their premise deployed using their own infrastructure, which is under their control. They have full visibility of what is going in that network, so they can serve their own devices, but they also would like to serve to the devices that belong to the operators. So it's kind of a dual use case, and the real scalability, we believe, is going to come with the enterprises embracing this technology, just like Wi-Fi, and it becomes a connectivity solution, wireless connectivity solution in their premises.
So you talked about the alliance, the CBRS alliance. There's a bunch of new players in there as well. Without revealing too much of your roadmap, what is unique about Celona? What's your unique sales proposition?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And at very high level, I'll say this. At Celona, we have a combination of 3 sets of DNAs. That's how we call it. We have people like myself, who's coming from the cellular world, from Qualcomm or companies on that space. We have people coming from the enterprise networking space, like Rajiv or Azar, from the maybe Aruba Networks and Cisco and so forth. And we have people coming from the cloud world, which brings the cloud software expertise. So we're bringing all of these things together. And the ultimate goal is to have a solution that can be easily used and deployed by the enterprises. So we pay a lot of attention in terms of how it integrates with the enterprise network. Our solution is plug and play, but it's also leveraging the existing infrastructure, such as the local area network, switches, on the back end, whatever identity management and device management systems they like to use. All of those are easily integrated in a frictionless manner, without compromising the benefits and the capabilities of the cellular technology. So that's one. The other crucial aspect is all of our solution is built around applications, because applications drive the need for this new kind of connectivity. So we pay a lot of attention to how application KPIs and the service level objectives are maintained, how quality of service, such as bandwidth, packet error, latency requirements are met. And maybe as a third one, I would say we leverage AI in a very significant way. We leverage AI from the planning of the network to the deployment, operations, optimization, and troubleshooting expert assistance. Because this is a sophisticated technology, and the applications are ever growing. So we want to really make it automated in terms of how this technology can be used for all these new applications. So all of those are coming together. We believe we are unique in that aspect, and we have a lot of trials going on right now, and totally excited about it.
That's fantastic. If people want to learn more about Celona or more about CBRS, where would you recommend they go?
Awesome. The best place is to go to our website, celona.io. And we strongly recommend that they subscribe to our newsletter. And in the next few weeks, we'll have a bunch of announcements coming where we will describe our community development program. And I'll be personally involved in that. Andrew, Azar, and a bunch of other people will be also involved. And we're looking forward to that community building that's happening very soon.
Fantastic. I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. It sounds like some very exciting stuff coming from Celona.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben.
And that's all the time that we have today. I want to thank you for joining us here at the Wireless LAN Professionals Conference. Stay tuned. We will be coming from some more conferences down the road. But for right now, I'm Ben Friedman. For everyone here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, we'll see you next time on Live Now.